Well, this is my list of uh, myths about being Irish, just like my list of myths about being Hawaiian. Similar thing. But I'm gonna try to do this all in one video instead of like cut it up, make multiple little videos. Let's see if I can get up to 10. Um, I've been asked was like multiple things like, are all Irish redheads? No, we're not. I have brown hair, and I have some family that has red hair, and others I'm blonde, but I have different ethnicities. But yeah, now my hair gets really dark to black. All right, does all Irish people have the same accent? Do they all sound like Lucky Charms? Well, actually, no, we don't. Because Lucky Charms, that character, Lucky from Lucky Charms, he has that accent, which actually comes uh, from County Cork, which happens to be uh, southwest of Ireland, of the Isle of Erie. Since there was a huge influx of Irish from that area, they came to the Americas, so that's why a lot of Americans assume that is the standard Irish accent. But it's not really the case. It's just one of many. There's also a link in the doobly-doob about different accents. Check it out. Um, Another one is, do the Irish celebrate St. Patrick's Day the same as in America? Not really, no. It's not that big of a deal in Ireland as it is in the Americas. Especially in America, it's much more of a big, huge celebration than it is in Ireland. Ireland, it's more of a religious thing, and usually it's just a day to get drunk. In America, it's a day to get drunk, but yet to celebrate being Irish and stuff like that, and make it a big, huge hoopla. Uh, that's basically the two differences. Other thing is, another one is, um, do Irish eat? Uh, I was going to say this. I'm a little tired right now. Uh, do Irish eat corned beef and cabbage? Like, yeah, I'm like, no. The answer is no, because some actually do, but in America, corned beef and cabbage plus soda bread and a few other items, traditional foods is typically traditional in America, Irish, because it was affordable. It was more affordable to make these things, And plus, in Ireland, they didn't do that. And plus, yeah. And I'll tell you more about. Okay, the reason why we corned beef and cabbage on St. Patrick's Day, it goes back to not to St. Patrick. It actually goes back not that far, but to when the Great Potato Famine, a huge influx of Irish came to America from Ireland, from Erie, and yeah, and the most affordable meat they could get to cut was a brisket, and they corned it. In other words, they put pepper all over it, and then you boil it and you bake it. You do other things to it, But it's usually you do is you brine the damn thing. You pat it dry, and you corned it, and then you put in usually a roasting pan with some aromatic vegetables and also potatoes. Because potatoes were not really. They were actually very plentiful in America. Well, there was a huge famine in Ireland, though. So Yeah. And it was just an affordable cut. That's why. And the Irish were actually in America has been harassed longer than the blacks have ever been. Um, there was even all the way into the 20th century, you had with signs stating, even all the way from Canada to the United States, stating Irish no need apply, and stores would say Irish not welcome here. You know, they didn't want the Irish. Just kind of horrible. Another myth is, do all Irish love to drink and fight? Not really, but some, yeah. For me, yeah, I don't really care about beer, the drinking. No, the choices of alcohol I like. I prefer schnapps. Uh, if I want to get, yeah, I really don't get drunk, even though that I can drink a lot of alcohol at once. It just ends up making me sick. Not never drunk or get a hangover. Never had one. In fighting, I don't like to fight, but when I'm in battle and I am fighting, I relish in the battle, and it feels morbidly, good of me, pounding the shit out of the bastard, you know. All right, another question. Um, are all Irish Catholic? Well, if you're talking about, the Republic of Ireland, yeah, typically the biggest thing between the Republic of Ireland and the territories of Northern Ireland, there's a religious thing difference, because the north is mainly Protestant, while the south, most of Ireland is Irish Catholic, or they would say, it's Roman Catholic, but technically it isn't. It's Irish Catholic, which, of course, Irish Catholics do, reverend the Pope, and all that, of Roman Catholicism, it's pretty much, but in Ireland, we have our own different celebrations and local customs, and close we have is our own sites that the rest of Christianity doesn't even know of, like Bridget. Although, yes, there is a goddess named Bridget, but the story about Saint Bridget, she was uh, she was technically considered by the church as a nun, but she actually did teach of the scriptures and stuff, and she did do the acts of what would be of a priest would do. So, just think of her as kind of like Irish. She's an Ireland's version of Mother Teresa. It was kind of like that. She was pretty much of the stories I've heard of her. She was pretty much a good person, tried to do the right thing, and she did was spread Christianity and teaching people, and also preaching. Doing the same things as a priest would do, even though she was considered a nun. But yeah, she felt her calling was higher than just being a fucking nun. You know. All right, and then of course there's Irish in the Americas. Yeah, some are Catholic, some are Protestants, some are you know pagans and stuff like that. There's all different beliefs, and same thing with Ireland. You have people of different belief systems, but typically, yeah, they are Catholic. But yeah, it's actually an individual thing between a person and God, or whatever their higher being, or whatever you want to call it, whatever. Um, Another thing, Do all the Irish all support the IRA? Not really. There are a few that in the North and South do actually support the ideas and notions, and some actually join the freaking IRA, But the Irish Republic doesn't. The Republic of Ireland does not recognize um, the IRA as part of their regime or whatever. They consider them just a bunch of hooligans with guns, and they end up terrorizing people, which Ireland itself, the Republic of Ireland just does not agree upon that. You know, it's one thing of how it was in the past, way in the past, that was okay, but the massive slaughtering of people, they've done at one time, or even the bombings, I can understand why they were doing it. This was before, you know Ireland separated to, the Northern Territories and having the Republic of Ireland. Of the reason of the bombings, and they bombed was the noble from England, had control of Ireland. Then he ran like a little bitch, and he went. His facility is now, the family itself had nothing. I'm not talking about the families or bitches or whatever, but that particular one that had ran basically instead of dealing with the situation at hand and trying to make it better for the people instead of fucking off and being a complete douchebag to the people, you know, screwing the country and overtaxing. Because Ireland, if they weren't overtaxed and land wasn't taken away or told that their belief system, they have to change their belief systems. If the English never did such things to them like that, or harassed them, or violated, personal liberties that would be under, the American constitutional laws and stuff, if they did not do such horrible things to these people, to my people, to them and mine, and, well, hell, they are my people. If they didn't do these horrible things, then Ireland would probably still be part of the British Empire. Well, anyways, the family lives in England, and the offices to control of Northern Ireland. Well, the Lord, the Noble, he's in London. So that's why the London bombings all the time. Because they're bombing him, and then they went berserk and start bombing the uh, other parts of London. Oh, which is stupid, All you're doing is making yourselves look like fucking vandals and terrorists and all that. No one's going to take you seriously. I was used for the ideals of Ireland for the Irish. I wanted it all united. You know, but it had to be their choice for the people that live there, not mine. But to do it forcefully and bombing like that, I did not agree upon that. Especially when I found out, because when you're young, you kind of know like kind of the basics, and I learned was of the past of how it started, and then what it is now, it's like no, I don't agree with a lot of the actions they're doing today on it. All right. Are the Irish afraid of leprechauns? Well, in the past, it used to be. And yes, leprechaun stories were meant to do with scare children. Actually, it got to a point when people were literally terrified of leprechauns. Not in the ways that you think, like from the movies that they come at you like a freaking midget dressed up as a leprechaun and start stabbing you. You know, they don't think of shit like that. See, that you know, the myth of the times were in the past was that leprechauns would come into your house, usually through the windows, and they would go fucking stealing your kids, mainly the boys. The reason why they took them to make them slaves and had them digging for gold, off the far off lands and whatever. I mean, fucking slaves. So the Irish families did was let their kids' hair grow. So like when the leprechauns come into the child's room in the night to go steal the boy and check the hair, notice they have long hair. They won't take them because they'll think, oh, it's a girl. We don't want girls. We want little boys so they can be fucking slaves. And that's it. That's the reason with that. Um, Another thing is, I was asked, do the Irish all speak English? Well, pretty much we speak English, but we also have is Gaelic, Irish Gaelic, in fact, which is different from Scottish Gaelic, but similar, but a little different. That's a little, yeah. So, yes, far as I know, it's Irish Gaelic is still being taught in schools as kind of like a secondary language because when Ireland became the Republic of Ireland, they wanted the heritage to stay and their traditional language to exist. That's why a lot of areas I've seen photos of it where a lot of people in Ireland do speak two languages. They speak Gaelic and they speak English. So yeah, but typically from within my family is speak English. My personal family, like my dad, he's he speaks like pretty much every European language there is. I know quite a few myself. I'm better at reading and writing than speaking. I also know Japanese. Not too bad at it. In fact, also know Hawaiian. Um, yeah. Uh, is that it? Oh, yeah. Some newer ones I've heard was, is Jacksepticeye really Irish? Well, of course he is. Of course he's Irish. About his accent, that is one type of an Irish accent. And yes, but he's not Irish American. He's Irish Irish. He's Gaelic. So I'm part Gaelic, anyways. Another thing was, are the Irish and Scots related? Yes, actually, in fact, Ireland and Scotland are actually united. Originally, we were part of the same kingdom. We're the same peoples. We're Gaelics. We started on the Isle of Manx, and we traversed to Erie, Isle of Erie, which is Ireland to you. Conquered it, killed whatever people that were there, and pushed them out. So it was all Gaelic territory now. So we had was our kingdom, the High King of Tara decided that this was later time, yeah, after that, decided that we need colonies, to colonize of Britain. So they set up colonies, little outposts, as it were, and these were to test bed of can we survive here? Is it good land to survive? Some of the areas bad farming didn't really work out well, and plus you had was stupid, fucking shite people, you know, coming in through the area, fucking things up, So, some of the areas didn't work, but the area which we know today as Scotland actually did well. So we end up colonizing it pretty much. So that's how that is. But it was more later on. to when there was going to be a kingdom there. So, how Scotland got its king is very simple. The High King of Tara, which is the king of all the Gaelic peoples of all of our lands, he knew that just he did was allowed his cousin to rule over Scotland. His his cousin actually ruled over Scotland, so we can, technically speaking, the Scots are our cousins. And for a present of his cousin's crowning, he was given was a stone, which is a mythical stone. You know, it's a magical stone, as it were. Like only someone that is meant to rule, who is destined to rule, divine divinity has specified this person as a right of rulership, would touch the stone and it would sing. In other words, it would it resonate. It made a noise, and that was to prove, the proof of, of their kingship, as it were. So when he was crowned and stuff, he did the ceremony and touched the stone. It resonated. It made noise, and it was true that he was the rightful king of this land. Until the English came over there and they took the stone, which there's actually two of them. Unless if you want to believe like Highlander, the TV series, then there's three. Okay, why I say two? Well, there's one that is a flat stone and whatever, no markings on it, which is under the throne of Queen Elizabeth, the royal throne that has the damn stone. For every English king and queen has ever sat upon it, that stone has never resonated and never made a noise. The other one, which has carvings and stuff of relic runes, is also presumed to be the actual stone or what's left of it, and that's actually in a monastery and hidden within the monastery. It was supposedly that the story goes it was taken before the English did. They swiped it, and they gave and the English ended up with the false one and took it back to towards London, and the real one was hidden in a monastery deep underneath it. I'm not gonna say which one, because I don't want you dumb shite people going and trying to rob in this monastery for a fucking stone, which you don't even know if it's real, because even if you're not the rightful heir to rule, it won't resonate if you're not the rightful heir. So you're not doesn't resonate. Of course, it's not going to resonate. You have to find someone that rightfully is to touch the damn thing. See if that person really is, So there. And why I say a third one? Well, in the TV show Highlander, the TV series that is, not the animated one, but the live action one that came after the movies. The movies was what was it? Well, it's the McClouds. Yeah, in the TV series it was Duncan McLeod, or the Clown McLeod. He did was stole the damn thing, and it ends up being in switching it, and it ends up being a bench inside a golf course. it's cool. It's cool. Alright. Oh, that's why I say three. Alright. Here's another thing you probably wouldn't know. Like, also I've been asked this: why are the Scots are called Scots and not Gaelics? If they aren't Gaelic, just like the Irish are Gaelic, why are they Scots? They're called Scots and not Irish if they're the same people. Okay, it goes back to the Romans. The Romans' word for the Gaelics was Scoti. Alright, we're all Scoties. If we're from Ireland or Scotland, we're Scoti. That's the Latin word for us. And for the Latin word for Irish lands, which would, Gaelic lands, which would be Scotia, the ia at the end, ia, which means land of the Gaelics, basically, is what it is. So when the English came through, they did was do everything what they do. Instead of changing it to a different word, they did was like changed it, like what we to what like Scotia, and changed it to Scotland, take out the ia and put land in there instead to anglify it. That's pretty much it. So, I know it's getting on late, and I think this video is done. Till next time.